All right, so this is question number 2, May 2018. And the first thing we're asked to do is to A, factorize completely each of the following expressions. All right, you're asked to factorize 1 minus 4h squared. So essentially what you'd have to see here is that this is actually the difference of two squares. So difference of two squares means something squared minus something else squared that is also squared. So how do we factorize the difference of two squares? Usually when the examiner gives a question like this is only valid 1 mark because he's expecting you to look at it and write the answer. The middle step, which is the 1 minus 2h all squared, that wasn't necessary. You could have gone straight for the answer. So what you ask yourself is, what do you multiply by itself to give you 1? And that is 1. You're going to put 1 here and 1 here. Then they ask, what do you multiply by itself to give you 4h squared? And that is 2h. You're going to put a 2h here and a 2h here. On one side, you put a plus. On the other side, you put a minus. It's that simple. All right, II is asking us to factorize completely. And for II, this to me looks like factorization by grouping. All right, so in factorization by grouping, usually there is no factor that is common to all of the terms, and you'd have to factorize the expression in groups of what? 2 terms. So for the first 2 terms, what is common is q. So I'm going to put q outside the bracket. Now q into qp is p, minus q into q squared is q. Whatever sign comes next, you put it back. Now to the right, the thing that is common is 3. So I'm going to put 3 outside the bracket. Then 3 into 3p is p. A negative into a positive is a negative, and 3 into 3q is q. Now, common to both sides is p minus q, so I'm going to put that outside. And in the next bracket, you're going to have q minus 3. All right? So this is how you factorize p q minus q squared minus 3p plus 3q. All right, let's turn the page. All right, we're asked to solve each of the following equations. The first one is easy. I could say that this is the same as saying 3y over 2 is equal to 12 over 1. If I have one fraction is equal to one fraction, I'm going to cross multiply. So 1 times 3y is 3y is equal to 2 times 12, which is 24. Next, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And so I'm going to get y is equal to 8. I really hope everybody got that. Y is equal to 8. All right, below we're asked to solve this quadratic equation. I could use I could either use the method of factorization or I could use the quadratic formula, but I'm going to use the method of factorization. So the first thing I'm going to find is AC. A is 2 and C is minus 3. So this is minus 6. And B is equal to 5. So what I'm doing is I'm doing the ABC method. And the first thing to do is to find out the value of AC. Then the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to split the middle term and factorize by grouping. Now to split the middle term, I need to find 2 numbers. When I multiply those 2 numbers together, I get minus 6. When I add the same 2 numbers together, I'm going to get a positive 5. Ladies and gentlemen, the only way I can multiply 2 numbers and get a negative answer is if one of the 2 numbers is negative and one is positive. And I would have told you before that if AC is negative, the sign of B is the sign of the larger number. All right, so the two factors are going to be positive 6 and minus 1. The two factors are going to be positive 6 and minus 1. So let's split the middle term. I'm going to have 2x squared minus 1x plus 6x minus 3 is equal to 0. To the left-hand side, x is common. X into 2x squared is 2x. X into x is 1, right, but the plus. To the right, 3 is common. So I'm going to have 3. 3 into 6x is 2x. And 3 into 3 is 1. Now, 2x minus 1 is common. And in the next bracket, I'm going to have x plus 3. And this is equal to 0. So now I'm multiplying two numbers and I'm getting 0. If you're multiplying two numbers and you're getting 0, it is either the first number, which is 2x minus 1, that is equal to 0, or the second number, x plus 3, that is equal to 0. So therefore, 2x is equal to 1, or x is equal to minus 3. Over here, divide both sides by 2. So therefore, I can say x is equal to a half, or x is equal to minus 3 are the solution of this quadratic equation. And of course, when you solve a quadratic equation, you must get two answers. Next. So this is the C part of the question. The C part says the quantities F, M, B, U, and T are related according to the formula. F is equal to M into V minus U over T. And we're asked to find the value of F when M is equal to 3, U is equal to minus 1, V is equal to 2, and T is equal to 1. So this is a simple case of substitution. So in substitution, letters in an expression or in an equation are replaced with by the numbers that they represent. And of course, when we substitute a negative value into an expression, it is usually placed in brackets. So this is F is equal to M, which is 3, into V, which is 2, minus U, which is minus 1. And this is all over T, which is 1. So we're going to have 3, and inside the bracket, we're going to have 2. A negative times a negative is a positive, plus 1 over 1. So this becomes 3 times 3 over 1. F would be equal to 9. So when M is 3, U is minus 1, and V is 2, F is equal to 9. Lastly, we're asked to make V the subject of the formula. So let's write the formula. We have F is equal to M into V minus U all over T. All right, and we want to make V the subject. Right now, F is the subject. If V is going to be the subject, I need to have V by itself on one side. It's both its coefficient and power must be positive 1. All right, the first thing I will do is this. If I have one fraction is equal to one fraction, I would cross multiply. So 1 times M into V minus U is M into V minus U is equal to F times T, which is Ft. Next, I would remove the brackets by applying distributive law. M times V is equal to MV. minus m times u is mu, and this is equal to ft. And of course, distributive law says when we're moving brackets, terms inside the bracket are multiplied by the term immediately outside the bracket. Next, I'm going to have everything that has v in it on one side and everything that doesn't have v in it on the other side. So I have mv is equal to ft plus mu. So negative mu goes over and becomes positive. And the final step is I'm going to divide both sides by m so that I can leave v alone on the left-hand side. So therefore, v would be equal to ft plus mu over m. All right? And so v is equal to ft plus mu over m. And that's the end of the question.